So you've already developed your film and you've looked at your contact sheet and decided which photo you want to use. Now it's time to move on to developing your print. If you haven't developed your film or you don't know what a contact sheet is, then this is the wrong lesson for you and you should refer back to some of the other lessons on the Valley website. After taking your shot, developing the print is probably the most important part of the 35mm process, because you could have an amazing shot, but if your print is poorly developed or scratched, then it's no good. The first thing we have to do is make a test strip in order to find out how long we're going to burn the picture into our photo paper. We have to experiment with a couple different timings. So to begin, you're going to need photo paper. It comes in this black packaging. Don't take it outside of the packaging in the light or you will expose it and ruin it. Now we're going to go into the darkroom. Put your photo paper on the table and put it lengthwise going up and down, and move it so that the edge of the paper lines up with the edge of the second piece of tape. So we're going to line it up like this and then just cut it. Now we're going to flip the paper so it's going the other way. This time line it up with the first piece of tape. Cut it again. The result is two big rectangular pieces of paper that you're going to use for your prints, and you have one long strip that's ideal for test strips. If you ever need help remembering how to cut your photo paper, just look up to these guides right here. This is the control box. This is where you control how much time the light is on exposing your photo paper. So let's get started. We're going to mount the film in the enlarger, so just take the slider out, open it up. This is right side up, but we're going to flip it upside down because when the light shines through, it reflects the image backwards. So just fit it in between these four little holders, close it up, and just stick it back in the enlarger. So we need to format this picture to this little metal holder right here. So there's a couple of different knobs that can change the size and focus of the image. This one right here, this crank, this raises and lowers the enlarger. This one is going to be used to make your picture bigger or smaller. The higher up it is, the bigger it's going to be, and the lower down it is, the smaller it's going to be. This knob right here is going to be used to focus your image. This handy little device is called a microsight. After the image is the right size and it looks focused to the naked eye, put this down and look through the sight and you'll see the grain of the image, and you can finely tune it so that the grain is clearly visible. My image is now focused and just big enough so that it extends past the inside edges of the holder. I'm going to ruin one piece of photo paper for you guys so you can see which side goes up. You can see here how there's a glare on it when you move it in the light. And on this side, it's kind of a matte finish. You want the glary side up. And you'll be able to see this with the specialized lights that we have in the darkroom. Now we're ready to put the photo paper in.
So obviously I'm not going to be able to make a real test strip because the lights are on, but I'll show you the process of how it's done. Okay, so I turned off the enlarger light. Now I'm going to stick the test strip inside of the holder. I'm going to set my exposure time to 2 seconds. And now I take this piece of black cardboard, place it over the test strip about 1 centimeter from the edge, and then I'm going to expose it. 2 seconds, move it over a little bit, another centimeter, expose it again. One more time. And so on. Keep moving it down in increments until you get to the end of your test strip. And you should have a bunch of different exposures. Alright, to the very left you can see the sign that says developer. You put the photo in the developing solution for 2 minutes, shake it around with your hands, get it all over it, and then take it out. The second step is a stop bath. This will just stop the developing process and clean all the developer off. So put it in here, leave it in for 1 minute, then you're good to take it out. The next step is the fixer. The photo should be submerged in the fixing solution for 4 minutes. If it's a print, But if it's a test strip, you only have to leave it in for about 30 seconds. Last step is washing it. This is just water, just put it in, wash it around for a minute, take it out. If you ever forget the order or the time you're supposed to leave them in each chemical, just look at the signs. They're big and pretty self-explanatory, so you shouldn't get it wrong. Mr. LaQuire has timers, and there's also a giant clock up above the chemicals that you can look at while you're developing. All right, now in order to find out how long you're going to expose your paper for, just count from this side to the left, because this is where we started. So this is 2 seconds, this is 4 seconds, this is going to be 6 seconds, this is going to be 8 seconds. So the one we want is 8 seconds. So if you find that your pictures have come out gray, then a nifty trick is to use these filters right here. I'll open them up. They're just colored pieces of plastic that you stick inside of the enlarger. I'll show you where in a sec. The number 2 filter is a neutral filter. It really doesn't do anything. The lower filters will make your picture even more gray. So, you're never going to really want to use these ones. You're going to want to go up to the higher numbers. These will darken your blacks and lighten your whites. So it will improve the contrast in your prints and make them look a lot better. The 4 filter is going to be more contrasty, and the 5 filter is going to give you a lot of contrast. And because this is a darker sheet of plastic, you're probably going to have a longer exposure. This is where you're going to find your filters. These drawers right here. This is where you put your filter. Open that little flap up and slide it right in there. So remember, we're going to do this for 8 seconds. The actual print is very similar to the test strip. Just place it inside of the holder. Make sure it's nice and even in there. And then just expose it.
After you've finished exposing your photo paper to light, repeat the developing process with the correct times for photos.
Now when your photos are all wet, just stick it up here on the squeegee board and just wipe the water off of both sides. Then bring it over to the drying rack. So when your photos are wiped off, this is where you can hang them up to dry.